I think I said before that most of my poetry, most of my writing, in a sense, the biggest theme or the biggest thing that can be detected in it is the the idea of memory. I don't know why that is. I mean, it's certainly something that I've thought about. And the thing about memory is that you have it's always changing, and it's fungible, it's flexible, and uh, and one of the things that's often well, to get organic, to have something in memory is to mean that it's naturally in flux. And so, if one character says so and so is narrating a chapter or something and says so and so happened on this and such date, and then later on in the book someone else says that it happened 3 months later or 2 weeks earlier, it doesn't really matter so much because those are not particularly important things to pin down. There are some things where the dates or the years matter here or there, but the rest of it doesn't really matter as much. Bit von Rheingold has in the Summer of Love, 1967, his acid trip that lasts 900,000 plus words, and I'm sure there's probably some gimmick books where there are longer chapters, and as I said, there are some books that go on 10 or 20 million words. But this is really the longest chapter in any literary book that's ever been written. And I talked about it a little bit before, and um, it's it's repetitious, but it's repetitious in the way I know that I've dreamt, and when I've talked with other people who've had recurring dreams that every 5 or 8 months that they have the same dream for the 10 or 20 years, is that they're semi-aware that they're in a dream, just as Bit is semi-aware that he may be a literary character. The dreams, the images repeat themselves. And in this one, Bit meets different versions of himself. One who probably, I mean, Bit died at the end of Bit of Golem, the first book he appeared in the early, in the mid O's. Here, he meets a future version of himself, because this is set in 67. There's Bit, and there's older Bit, who's from around the time of the book. And then we meet oldest Bit, who's probably the year that this was created, 2014 or so. And so this might seem a discontinuity from things, but it could be that this oldest Bit is simply the projection of Bit's acid trip. And what I did was, in writing this, oftentimes I took first drafts. When I did a first draft, I said, okay, this is important, so I'm going to take this out, this section from chapter 54, this acid trip, and I'm going to put it in this chapter here or there. Sometimes to just loosen up a chapter where maybe I wanted to show that the manuscript written by Manny Cole was not working or something. And then I would refine and go on and redo that segment I had just copied, so that you get something different. Other times I would go in specifically and slightly alter the scene of, for example, probably at least 20 or 25 times the actor Dennis Hopper comes out of his apartment, pisses over a railing, and then falls down down this however many 8,800 floors. The building, that apartment building, has something like 8,800 floors or whatever. I gave it 6,800, and he goes falling and then bounces back up, and so you try to do these things that recapitulate these things, and in a sense, I said that you could sort of read this segment every time you got to when Hopper falls over. You could sort of just breeze through that to the next section. But if you do that, you get one experience. If you reread it, and if you were to go back and just compare the segments against each other, they're all slightly different. In one, Hopper may go to the left, and the other he may go to the right. He may say one thing to Bit in one of those things. In another one, he says something to Clifford Odets, or whoever's with him at the time. And so you get that repetition. And as I said, this also is sort of the psychological interior of the exterior of the book. For example, the relationship between Bit and older Bit and then oldest Bit is very reminiscent of the relationship between Manny Cole and Dan Schneider in the book. There's a constant battle of wills between the selves, since Manny is obviously a part of me, and the Dan Schneider of the book is also a projection of me. So too does Bit von Reingold have three of himself. He's got Bit, older Bit, and oldest Bit, just like there's the real Dan Schneider, the fictional Dan Schneider in the book, and Manny Cole himself. So there's that